them put together stopped Hitler from winning. This is how the trick was played. So all these little tricks, you see, are there. Once I remember I had my puja in Germany. And Germany is the place where these tricks are played very much by Hanumana, because I told you that they are the ones who require him the most. So there was a Germany, there was a puja, and in the puja, by mistake they put it the other way down, by mistake. I didn't see, I always watch very carefully, but I don't know why that day I didn't see it. It must be also Hanumana's trick. And when I saw, I said, oh God, where is it going to now hurt? Where is it going to work out? Which country it is going to hit? It did not hit Germany, it hit England. Because England, I've worked so hard there, and they have been so negligent about Sahaja Yoga, so lethargic about it, that it just went and hit there. So he is the one who goes like a torrential rain, or can go like a very speedy tempest and destroy things. So he works out all these things through his electromagnetic forces. So all the matter is under his control. All the matter is under his control. And he's the one who creates rain for you, who creates sun for you, he creates breeze for you. He's the one who does all these things just to have a proper puja, to have a proper meeting. Everything he works out so beautifully, and nobody even knows that it is Sri Hanumana who has done it, and we should thank Sri Hanumana all the time. For today's thing, if I have to talk about him, I'll take hours together, but only thing I have to say that it's such a blessing I feel that we have this in this palace, Sri Hanumana's puja, because he was always a very majestic deity or an angel, and that in a place where it is so majestic and beautifully done, everything is there, and he would like that. He is not a sannyasi type of a person. He is not an ascetic. Normally right-sided people are ascetic. They become Bauhaus, they'll make right-sided. So you see, the other way around, Hanumana is not. Hanumana likes beauty, he likes decorativeness, and he makes people non-ascetic. So Hanumana gives you this kind of thing. But many people who are worshippers of Hanumana always say that those ladies should never go and take the darshan of Hanuman because Hanumana is a brahmachari. Is the one who doesn't want women to see him, because he doesn't wear full clothes and he has very little clothes on himself, so he doesn't want women to see him. But if women think he's just a child, then it's just the same. But this idea, I think the people don't have, that he's a child. What is for a child? How many clothes he wears or doesn't matter. And then he's a monkey. The monkeys are not supposed to wear clothes. So whatever he wears is quite a lot. And it doesn't give you even the feeling at all that he's in any way nude or anything. But you just see such a sweet form of him. Such a sweet form. I wish sometimes you get his photograph also, as you have got the photographs of Sri Ganesha. Then you will really fall in love with it. It's such a sweet thing. And though he is so huge and so big, and though he has nails, but when he caresses my feet, he pulls back his nails, and he's so gentle. It's extremely gentle, and very beautifully he caresses my feet. And I've seen him, the way he handles everything is extremely gentle ways. So that's what I feel, that now Germans are becoming very gentle in handling things, in handling people. This change is coming, and I think is the blessing of Hanumana on them. So may God bless you.
Tonight we have gathered here to do the puja to the Devi, that is Mahakali we can call her, or Durga. So many types of forms she has taken to kill the negative forces that are trying to trouble or to obstruct or even to grow the people who were gentle and good. Her forms are of different types that we know about. That she destroyed so many Rakshasas. She destroyed many evildoers. Also, we do not know that in the world wars that we had, she was there to protect the right type of people. And that's how they all survived the ill-gotten plan of very cruel and evil people. The evil people have a capacity to hate and to express their hate in every way that is possible. They are really born evil, and there are also who become evil. When they are born evil, you can make them out that their whole style is so aggressive and so vindictive about things. But hatred has no limit, no limits at all, because if they hate someone, then just to justify that hatred, they'll say all kinds of things. Just to justify. But sometimes they don't even want to justify. They just feel that they hate, and it's a fundamental right they have got to hate. But these forces join together sometimes to form a giant personality of evil, which tries to torture the human beings and trouble them. They might take any name, they might call them by anything, but they are absolutely 100% evil. And for such person, there is no pity or compassion from the God Almighty. These are to be destroyed. And that is the job of the goddess, to destroy them, who is a mother full of compassion and love. It's a very contradictory work the goddess has to do, to kill these people, because in the larger interest it is important that all such evil people should be destroyed completely. But they do not. They, like, if go to jail for some times like that, they go to hell for some time, suffer, and again they come back much more strong. And then again try to trouble good, saintly people. Is a common style they are all over the world. They can come in the form of a very good man, of a very gentle man, or of a man who knows a lot about God, or they can also say that they can give you realization. All kinds of lies they are capable of, because they have that power, power of doing evil. So they take to all kinds of falsehood, and they proclaim that we are this and we are that, and we can give you this or that. Actually, they have come on this world to ruin people. We've had many of these false people, and many stupid people followed them. They never talked against each other. Christ has said, the devil won't talk against its own house. As if they are in one house, and in one house they live, and they cannot talk. They cannot talk of something that may disturb their collectivity or their fraternity. Their fraternity is so great that wherever they are, they know that they are together. Just imagine, all the evil people should join together and behave in this manner. Is very surprising. That way they are very collective. Supposing one has taken a particular part of the land, then he dominates there. Another takes up in another way. Third one takes. There's no competition. Ultimate effort is somehow or other to destroy all the creation of God, all the good people of the world, who will ultimately get their self-realization and who will have the knowledge about reality. This kind of atmosphere is the worst during Kali Yuga. And there are so many stupid people who may be simple, who may be good-natured, but they get drawn by the evil doing of these people. While the good people also sometimes follow suit. They also try to follow them. It's very surprising. Why should good people not understand what is good and what is bad? But that discrimination many good people also lack. And that's why they take to wrong things. And then they go on justifying all the time whatever they are doing is the right thing, is the best thing. They have the proof of it. Now, as you know, there have been many of them in this Kali Yuga, and so many of them have now disappeared from this earth, and now they cannot trouble us. But there are still some more who are exposed. People have exposed them so much that nobody can expose anybody without any proof. But they have such courage and they are so full of confidence that they can do what they like, and anybody tries to expose them, they will definitely ruin that person. Few things they are doing. First of all, they put wrong ideas into your head. They say that we are very great people, we are this, we are that, God has sent us, all sorts of things they will talk. But there is no proof about it. And human beings never ask for the proof as to how do you say, what is the proof? So the solution is the Sahaja Yoga. In Sahaja Yoga you have the experience, you have the proof, then you grow into it. Immediately you cannot become a great Sahaja Yogi, that's a fact. You have to mature. It takes some time for some people, it takes some more time for some people, it doesn't matter. But you do mature. In the meanwhile, if you try to go to these wrong people, then there is no possibility. There is no way of again bringing you up. Especially those people who rise high in Sahaja Yoga, I think. If they fall so low, then even an ordinary Sahaja Yogi could say, Mother, look at him, where has he gone? So, with all these things happening, what is our job is to worship Mahakali within us. Because what does she do? Perhaps we are not very aware of. First and foremost thing she does is to protect us. Wherever you may be, whatever you may be doing, in whatever peril you may be, howsoever dangerously you may be placed in life, she protects. First thing, she protects. All the people who write to me how they were protected, how they were cured, how they were helped, is this thing, that they should know that all this has happened because of Mahakali power within you. She exists within you. When you are worshipping Mahakali, you are worshipping the Mahakali within you. With due respect, you must know that this Mahakali is a very sensitive personality. She is very sensitive. If you try to do any wrong to anyone, she'll guide you. She'll tell you by many ways that this is wrong you are doing, why you are doing wrong to some person. But if you do not repent and come back onto the normal position, she gives you up. Once Mahakali gives you up, you are now exposed and become prone to all kinds of evil things. I would say, what's the matter with the baby? So when you worship her, what you want? You want her to protect you. In your discrimination, in your mistake, you might do something wrong, may do something that is not good for you, could be very dangerous for you. But she is the person who guides you how to avoid all the dangers. Now she protects your life. She protects your body. She protects all organs of your body. She is the one who gives you all the security of life. In her realm, you feel completely secure. You are never afraid of anything. Because you have left her realm, you have come out of it. That's why, that is the reason you are afraid. But if you are under her beautiful guidance and her blessings, you will never feel afraid to do anything. You will never do anything wrong also. As soon as you will try to do wrong, she will hold your hand. She is really the guiding person. She is the one who actually gives us our existence. Without her, we cannot exist. Because she is the one who is the power of Sri Shiva. She gives us so many things. For example, she gives us the relaxation, the sleep. She gives you the truth. She tells you what is the truth and what is not. Sometimes people, so much in their ego, always try to believe that what I think is the truth. Then she's the one who points it out by creating a maya, a kind of a confusion, that you start thinking, what is this? So she is called also the one who gives us Bhranti, means illusions. She puts you to illusions also. She tests you, puts you to illusions, and she then ultimately takes you out of the illusions. She is the one who relaxes you, because she takes over all your responsibilities. She takes over all your problems. She is the one who solves all the problems. It is we who forget to leave all the problems to her. If you just leave problems to her, all your problems are solved. Not only that, but you really feel blessed. It's not only physical, also it's mental, that she makes your mind absolutely free of worries. She doesn't worry. And she doesn't want you to worry. If you worry, then she tries to show that by your worrying, you are denying her. You are not accepting her. Worrying is something is very common and people take great pride in saying, oh, I was worried. How can you be worried when your mother is Sakshat Mahakali? She can kill all the demons, she can finish all of them, she knows how to manage things. And when you are like a child before her, how can you worry about it? So your worries are finished. She worries about you, you shouldn't worry about yourself. That's the point. Her security is so great, she's so secured herself that she gives you all the security that you need. You can hold on to her feet, you can hold on to her image or to anything. You can even pray to her. Many people are being cured only by praying to her because she cures you. She can cure your diseases, which are very complicated diseases, she can cure. Now what she likes, Mahakali, likes the light. She's worshipped in the night because then we can put on the lights. She likes enlightened person, also she likes the light, she likes the sun, she likes something that will be completely enlightened and brightened. You must have heard about people who are called, I don't know what, but especially in the West they use them, they have big teeth and they and they are the people, they just imagine, they cannot exist before the sun. As soon as there is a sunrise, they just want to go off and sleep. Whereas they cannot see the sun because the light they can't bear. Now what has happened here, that Mahalakshmi has departed, Mahakali has departed from them. And when Mahakali has departed, then they are afraid, and such people are attacked by these people who know they are afraid. The sun itself is very important to work out this Mahakali thing. But as it is in the West especially, we are very hard-working and very much sun-oriented, and we worship the sun. All this we do, worship the sun and also go right-sided very much. Then it is she who gives us the balance. She is the one who gives us the balance by relaxing us completely and protecting us. Sometimes we are competitive and we are really worried and we want to do something which we cannot do. Then we get upset and we don't know what to do. Then it is she who brings sleep to us. So when we sleep, she looks after us, she soothes us, and she takes away our problems. So many things she is doing. But what are we doing for her, that we should say? Main thing is that we are ourselves worshipping her. She likes that her children should worship her. That on that level she can be one with them. She can give them her compassion, love and protection from all the evil. But it has to be understood, those who are not yet settled, those who are not yet absolutely belonging to that land of security of Mahakali, can be attacked. And they, once they leave that area, they can be very badly injured, killed, whatever may can happen. So we are living in this Kali Yuga in a very dangerous times, when anything can happen. So we have to be very careful. We have to watch our mind to see how it works. What does it teach you? What does it tell you? Try to understand. What is the plan of this evil person that you are playing into his hands? How can you play into his hands? And how can you do whatever wrong he wants you to do? Secondly, against her is the ego. The biggest problem is the ego today. Ego shows, no, I can do this. Ego says, I will work it out. Ego says, it will be done. But the human beings yield to ego. It's a great satisfaction for them that their ego is so strong. And they don't want to listen to the Mahakali forces. ले जाओ 2 मिनट बाहर ले जाओ तो ठीक हो जाएगा. He wants me, you see. Children are like that. They can't leave you for even. You have to be like children. Really, that's the very best way, is to be innocent like children. She loves innocent people. She's innocence herself. She loves innocent people. And she looks after you much more because you're innocent. You're not cunning. You're not very much trying to play your ego on others. If you're innocent, she'll help you. She definitely will help you. But this ego has to be brought under control. Because he is the worst enemy she has. She doesn't like your ego. She wants you to be egoless, to be innocent. As you know that it is first she came and she created Sri Ganesha. That's why we worship Sri Ganesha. We have to be innocent. Means we are not planning to do something bad or good or anything, but we are without any intentions. We are just, it's a timeless activity. You just don't bother about what you are going to do, what you are not going to do, what you should do, nothing of the kind. You are just existing in your complete innocence and enjoying yourself and making others enjoy. If there's one child in the house, he can make 100 people dance. It's like that. Because these children have the power of innocence. And that is what she respects. We sometimes feel that how people are cheats, how they cheat us, how they make all kinds of, I should say, aggressiveness, sometimes how they try to also tell lies. All kinds of things they will do. And they expect so much from you also. But all this is happening. You shouldn't bother about these things. You should keep to your innocence and you'll be surprised, you'll be completely protected. How? Because Mahakali will stand around you. She will look after you. If you are innocent. Innocent person doesn't get angry. What is there to get angry? Innocence has its own, I should say, strength, power. It's extremely powerful. Even a cruel man, if he sees a child, he becomes a little bit aware of it. There's a child. The whole world is aware that children should not be anyway tortured or troubled. Why? Because children are so innocent. So the quality of innocence is going to really help you very much because she appreciates your quality of innocence. Then another thing she loves in you is your compassion. Compassion for each other, love for each other, also caring for others. That is something she loves. If you are a Sahajogi, if you are a realized soul, she is always with you. But she says, what are you doing? with your compassion. How many people you are giving realization, how many people you are curing, how many people you are helping. She is quite aware of whatever you are doing. I should say it's such a tremendous power of Mahakali that she knows everything about you. Everything. She knows your mind, she knows your heart, she knows about your health. Everything she knows. Actually, she is the mother in every way who cares for the little child. In that way, she knows that this child doesn't know anything. He's very innocent. So like when you are very small, your mother looks after you. In the same way, this Mahakali looks after you. Then the Mahasaraswati power comes in, and she educates you, she gives you other ideas of knowledge, this, that. But looking after the child in you, looking after your innocence and your compassion is all done by this Mahakali power. So she is extremely sensitive about her children. Nobody dared touch her children. For her, everybody is like a child. Those who are realized so specially, she thinks are children. And in no way they should be hurt. Nothing should happen to them. She is always following them. One can say if she is a person, how does he follow them? Because she is omnipresent. She is present everywhere. Everywhere in your life she is there. Especially with Sahajogis, she follows them up and down. Everywhere, whatever you are doing, you are in an accident, she is there to save you. She is like an angel behind you. And nothing can happen to you if you really worship her from your full heart. Not for any gain, not for any achievement, but for her blessings. Her blessings are very great, and they really have enriched human beings. They have enriched this earth. They have enriched everything because of the blessings of Mahakali. Of course, then there comes the Mahalakshmi. Her thing is that in Mahalakshmi principle you become sort of detached. You start finding that what is this world after all? And a kind of a feeling of detachment comes into you, and you start thinking that there must be something better. There must be truth beyond. Especially people who have been tortured by bad people always think like that there must be someone who will raise us from this. Here comes the Mahalakshmi principle, which is the principle of the goddess of ascent. She puts the ideas in your head that what is next? What do we have to do? After all, is this the end of our life? What is the purpose of this life? Why have we come on this earth? What is so special that we should live on this earth? All such fundamental questions start rising. And then he just take to the seeking. In that also you have to understand the Mahalakshmi principle is very, very, very different from what people understand. They think if they are seeking, it should be intelligible, it should be through their minds, or could be rational, all this, or scientific. That's how they move, seeking the truth. It's not possible. Mahalakshmi's principle is like this, that you should have earnest desire to know the truth and truth and truth and nothing else. When you think like that, then you will not take to other things. So many people took to drugs thinking that by doing that they will achieve their self-realization. It's a wrong idea. How can you get away from your awareness can achieve that? So awareness is the most important thing. If you can go into the realm of awareness, then you have to understand the basic awareness is not to be lost. If your basic awareness is lost through drinking or through drugs or all these things that people do, they think that they are seeking, that's why they are doing. So sometimes they take excuse of seeking to do wrong things. It's like a revenge on yourself, I think, that you want to revenge yourself by thinking that you are now seeking. It's not the real seeking. In a real seeking, a person has to just meditate and should find out what is the right way. But that too by not reading some books or listening to some false gurus. Actually, Kundalini awakening is the only way one can know the reality. There's no other way out. But nobody tells them that it is Kundalini awakening. They'll tell you, we'll go to this place, then to that place, then move to that place, then this has to be done, and ultimately where do you come? Where you started. It's just like that, moving from places to places, moving from false to another false, to another false, to falsehood. Ultimately, so many seekers have been lost. So many have been lost because they thought that certain type of is very precious. Seeking is very precious because you can pay lots of money to the guru. I mean, you can purchase the guru, and so all the rich people can become enlightened. That means that. But I don't think the percentage of good people are only rich. The people who are good, whether they are rich or not is not the point. But such people try to gather around a person because I think there's a subtle ego of their money, that we can afford to buy this, buy that. Once I was in America and there was one lady who came to see me, and she didn't know that I was a spiritual person. So she said, now there's a very good guru who has come to America. I said, really, what does he do? He said, there's a sale on. I said, really? You can pay him half the amount. He can give you his blessings, all right. Then next week she said, now the sale has come to 1/4. If you pay the 1/4 amount, then he will give you the full knowledge. I said, how can he reciprocal? It's not proportionate. I said, even you are giving half, he was giving you half. When you are giving 1/4, he is giving full. That's the thing, he said. He is very magnanimous, you see. That's the point. I said, for all such people who think they can purchase truth, they cannot achieve it. You cannot purchase it. You cannot pay for your Kundalini awakening. No. Nor you should take any payment for that. Self-realization is absolutely is the divine grace. And you cannot take money for that. You cannot sell it. It's not so cheap to be sold. If you understand that, then the Mahalakshmi power works. And Mahalakshmi power is really meant for people who are genuine seekers, who are really seeking genuinely. It acts and works so well that they achieve a kind of a very, very spontaneous realization. This spontaneous realization, you all have got it. You don't have to go to Himalayas, you don't have to do anything like that. All those things are over, you have done it. In your previous lives, you must have done it. Now you don't have to do anything. You are getting it just sitting down here. Wherever you are in the whole world, you can get it. And it is spreading very fast. Now it's also the duty of Sahaja-yogis to spread Sahaja Yoga. Now, this one is to be understood that Mahalakshmi and Mahakali both go hand in hand. When you see Mahakali blesses you, and she is with you and you are in her realm, the Mahalakshmi comes forward and she definitely helps you to achieve your realization and also to improve your problems, to help you, the financial side of it you can call it, or in any way other problems also she solves. The greatest problem she solves, that your greatest desire to achieve self-realization is granted. So there is no competition between them. All these three powers work together, and whatever is needed, they work it out. But it is the Mahakali who guides where what help has to go. And that's why the power of Mahakali is very much respected. As it is, she has killed so many devils and so many Rakshasas. And there are still more, some of them are existing, but I'm sure they'll be all finished. There will be none of these horrible ones ever existing. But still, we have to be very careful and alert and try to find out what's wrong with these people, what are they doing, and what they are trying to propagate. You must mature in such a manner that you should know everything of all these evildoers. You must find out what these false people are doing. See, it's very easy because you are enlightened, and with your enlightened attention, you can definitely find out what's wrong with what organization, with which evil man, evil doer. It will be the best way is to meditate. Not to be aggressive in any way, but just to meditate and ask Mahakali, destroy. Destroy him. For he is destroying the world. You please destroy. That's her job. And she would love to do, but somebody has to tell her and ask her. It's very good because there are so many that unless and until you point it out, she may not be able to put her attention to them, possibly. So it's best is always ask her to help you on individual basis, on a national basis, maybe on a collective basis, or maybe on a global basis. That's what she exists everywhere. She is globally available. Anywhere you may be having any color, any race, any nation, anything. But she exists within you all the time, and to worship her and to awaken her is only your due that you have to do. If she is awakened within you, you will be a humble person. You will see what mistakes you have been committing, and you will feel bad about it. You will not feel guilty, but you will feel bad that I will never do such a thing. I have done very great wrong. And then you will try to correct it. All this works out very well when you are pure in your heart. Your heart should be pure. If your heart is not pure, if you are doing Sahaja Yoga to have some competition with others or with some sort of material achievements, it will not work. You have to do it in a way that is an innocent act, that you are worshipping your mother like a little child worships and loves his mother. It's a very simple relationship which all of us have felt. How we should love our mother and how we should be under her guidance and under her protection. That is something very simple you have known in your childhood, and that childhood has to come back in you if you really worship the mother. May God bless you.
Today we are going to celebrate the birthday of Mahavira. Mahavira is the incarnation of Bhairavnath, or you call him at Saint Michael. Now these two saints, as you know, one is the Gabriel, Hanumana, and another is Saint Michael. One is placed on the Pingala Nadi and another one, Saint Michael, on the Ida Nadi. So, Mahavira had to go through lots of search. Of course, he was a angel, but came as human being. And he had to find out the thing of the left side and how the left side acts. It's a very complicated thing, left side. It's much more complicated than right side. On the left side, we have also 7 nadis. And these 7 nadis are placed one after another. They are described in books and given different names to them. Now these 7 nadis that are on the left side, as you know, they cater to our past. Say, for example, every moment becomes a past. Every present becomes a past. Then we have past of this lifetime. And also we have past of our previous lives. Then all the past is built in within us, creation. So all these psychosomatic diseases, as you know, are only triggered by the entities that appear from the left side. For a person, supposing he is suffering, say, from liver trouble, and suddenly he is attacked from the left side, especially Muladhara, or any left side, left navi. Because Muladhara is the only one that is connected with the left side, Ida Nadi, and the right side, Pingala Nadi, is connected to Swadhisthana. So the problems of Muladhara are really beyond the reach of human beings. And when it is attacked, any one of these chakras on the left-hand side, then psychosomatic diseases occur into human beings. As I have told you many times, now this is the center, this is another center, left and right. They are on top of each other. If using the right side too much, goes up to a point and suddenly something happens on the left, triggers. So all diseases, say, even diabetes, is due to the psychosomatic effect. A person who is very hard-working, thinks too much, very right-sided, suddenly something happens, maybe also he might inherit that diabetes because of the past, and it triggers, and you get this psychosomatic problem. Now this psychosomatic problem is only cured if you know what's the problem of the left side is. So Mahavira went quite deep onto the left side. Why I said it's difficult, the left side, is because when you start moving on the left side, the movement becomes linear, of course, but it moves downward. While the movement on the right side moves upward. So the movement goes down like that. And then it coils up, forms coils. And you go on moving with it, so you are lost in the coil. But the other one moves upward and the coils are not so many. And because it is upward, it's easy to get out of it. So those people who go to the left, by any chance, by thinking too much about their past, crying about themselves and always complaining, are more difficult than the people on the right side. But the right side people are troublesome to others, while the left side people are troublesome to themselves. That's how this left side was to be found out properly, was done by Mahavira. Of course, he knew also, I think, all about it. So he has mentioned practically in details lots of things that can happen to a person who goes to the left side. He gave the idea of hell. He also described 7 types of hell. I mean, it's so horrible that I don't want to tell you what is hell is. It's horrifyingly cruel, horrifyingly joyless, and horrifyingly so repulsive that you hate yourself when you understand you have committed this mistake, you have committed this paap, this sin, and then what is the result? What you get, the punishment part. Mahavira worked it out, everything. He has given in all details what sort of punishment is due to a human being who tries to be left-sided. Also he has given about the person who is right-sided, but not to that extent, because he had to deal with the combination, but mostly with the left side. Now, I have told many people before, and here also I perhaps maybe, that there is a soul that is made out of the causal bodies of all the 5 elements. The causal, say for example, of the earth is fragrance. So this soul, which is made of the 5 causal bodies and your centers, plus we can say also it has got the control over the parasympathetic. It sits on the spinal cord from outside and activates the parasympathetic nervous system. So it has a connection with every center. Now this is the soul when we die, with the Kundalini and our spirit goes into the sky. And it is the soul that guides now the movement of our being, whatever is left now, into a new being, and that's how it works out. So everything that we have done so far is recorded in that soul. When you were asking me, Mother, we see some sort of round things, you see, lying together. What is that? I told you this is the dead soul. And now they have found out what I have told them. Because, see, when a person dies, his soul shows you, like even now you can see, round things. There could be many, there could be one, a string. And they saw it under microscope when I told them. that the soul within us is reflected on the cell, which is the reflector of every cell. So the part of the cell which is the reflector, which is placed on one side of the cell, also has this soul reflected, and the main soul, which is on the back, controls that reflected soul which looks after every cell. Now they have found out that there is in that reflector this kind of 7 loops. 7 loops because it sits on the 7 chakras and the Muladhara. Now what he found out, that when people die, then some of the souls are born again just after a few days. These people are just very ordinary type of people. That's how we brought in a kind of category. So they are the people who have died. They are of a category, one category, where they exist for a very short time in the collective subconscious, and then they take their rebirth. They are very ordinary people, aimless, useless people. But there are some souls, when they die, they just hang in the air, and they are just waiting to find out somebody who will fulfill their desires, which are not yet fulfilled. Like there's a drunkard, and a drunkard can join another human being who is living, who would like to drink. So once he starts getting this So once it starts getting into the habit of drinking, some of these souls can just jump on that person. And when they jump on that person, they can make him a real drunkard. I remember of a lady who was a very short, petite person, came from Cuba, in America when I went first. And she told me that she is very sick of herself. Her husband told me that she can take 1 whiskey bottle full, neat sometimes. Looked at her, such a little thing, I said, how can she do it? So I put a bandhan on her, and I saw a huge, big Negro standing behind her. So I said, do you know some Negro? Immediately she jumped on me. She said, Mother, you see that one? You see that one? That's the one who drinks, not me. Of course, I cured her, and after that she gave up drinking completely. So, whenever you start getting into a habit in a bad way, you lose complete control of yourself, and a spirit sits on you and it controls you. And when it controls you, you do not know how to get rid of any habit. That's why it's difficult to get rid of habits. Now, in Sahaja Yoga, when the Kundalini rises, what happens? That the spirits, these dead spirits, leave you, and you become all right, and you give up. That's how it works. I would say that all this Mahavira did not tell, nor did he find out all these things, because he was not a scientist, I think, or I don't know why. But what he has talked about is the hell. And he has said that if you do this kind of a thing in your lifetime, then what kind of a hell you will get. And he has described the hell in a very, I should say, openly and in a very detailed manner. And it's really horrible to know that a human being who thinks no end of himself ultimately will get to that kind of a hell, and some are permanently doomed to be there. But as incarnations take birth, also these devils, some of them who are completely doomed to live in hell, also take their birth. And when they take their birth, they try to trouble us. And they can take birth as you know, as our gurus and things and everything is happening now. You find it how these people are taking their birth and how they are misleading us. How they are using the left Swadhisthana, or we can call it the left side, just to immobilize us completely. So when a person is possessed, as you must have seen, a person gets possessed, he cannot feel vibrations. There are all kinds of symptoms about such a person. But in Sahaja Yoga, what do we do? Is to take the name of Mahavira. Because Mahavira runs all the way on the Ida Nadi and comes and stays here unto the, we can say, the point which is for our superi. And it sees, controls, works out, cleanses, and does all that is required to put a person right after surgery. So we have to be really very thankful to him for doing this kind of work, which is very filthy and dirty, because these people don't mind even sitting in the bathroom, like that we can say, or sitting with everything and meditating. They can do anything. They are very dirty people, absolutely dirty. When they become tantrikas, they try all kinds of dirty things, and with that they actually create a problem between themselves and the god. Say they will go to a temple of a goddess and start misbehaving with a woman there. So the goddess will disappear. And once the goddess disappears in that area, they call all these booths from the left side. So now we have all these souls which are lying, hanging in the air, trying to come back to a conscious thing and to possess someone. Plus we have these masters of the left side who know how to catch hold of these people and put them on somebody, or to remove from them someone and to put somebody else. So it's a continuous process, and this makes a person absolutely mad and good for nothing. Now when we know all this, still we get caught up on the left side. So we do get caught up. That's why I think this Mahavir Jayanti is a very, very great thing for us to observe. Now why was he called Mahavira? Because only a person like him, Veera means a person who is brave, who is chivalrous. Because only he could do this. So only he could enter into the being fully and could kill, or we can say destroy, those horrible Rakshasas, devils, all these negative things that come to us. Now, as you know, we use left side very much for so many negativity that is torturing us. But if there is no help, save from Mahavira, we cannot do it. We call the name of Mahavira, we could call him Saint Michael, we can call him by any name, but Mahavira because he was a human being. All this works out because of him. And he is such a great identity. He himself took a birth as a human being, difficult for saints to take birth as human beings. Moreover, you see whole concept of hell and all that is described in any scripture is a fact. It exists. And if you try to go in there, you see, when I tried to go there and to find out, I just go off to sleep sort of thing. In my sleep I find out all the things that are happening about person, how much he's got up, what he's done. It's not an easy thing to do with the conscious mind. You have to take to the subconscious and you have to go into sushupti, in a deeper sleep, to see what's happening in the left side. It's a very funny situation, I think. And for Sahaja Yogis also to enter in it, I would not advise. But one should get rid of the problems of the left side with the help of Mahavira. When this chakra is caught up, what you find is a big lump of bone coming out on the right side. So you have to take the name of Mahavira just to remove that pressure from the left side. Now many people do not even know why they suffer. Why should they suffer when they have done nothing wrong? Because they are possessed. Now even the viruses and all these things like psychosomatic troubles like cancer, all I would say, the incurable diseases are there because we are triggered into the left side. That's why we are suffering from these diseases which are not curable. So we have to thank really very much Mahavira, who has given us this power to remove our left-sided problems, who has given us this light in our hand, which he himself vibrates, and he himself tries to throw some light on the obscure things about me also. Because of him only, we can get cured of so many physical and mental troubles. You know that the left side can be easily cured if you use 3 candle treatment. That shows Mahavira is only fond of light. He doesn't like darkness. And his idea is, I think that way, is to now fully go all the way to clear the left side as far as possible, to help Sahaja Yoga to be established in countries where I find still a lot of this negativity is there. Lot of it. So he is working it out everywhere. And the psychosomatic diseases and all these diseases also we can work it out with candle light and all that. With 3 candles we can do this trick. So we have to be very thankful to him that he has achieved this kind of entry into the left side and has found out for us what sort of problems exist on the left side. It's such a nice thing that we have got today the chance to celebrate his birthday here in a place which is really very much loved by him. Now you may say that Mahavira is sometimes seen as a person who is naked. So it happened that he had gone in a jungle to meditate and to find out about the left side. And when he got up, you see, he got caught up in one of the bushes. And he had to torn off half part of that. When that half part was torn off, then he came out of those bushes and he was all right. But at the same time, Sri Krishna appeared there on the scene as a little boy from a village. And he said that I am a poor man. This little boy said, I am a poor person, I have nothing with me. You are a king, you can always get your clothes. Why don't you give me this half cloth that you have? And they say so that it was given to this boy and who ran away. He was nobody else but Sri Vishnu. And this, you see, Vishnu took away that cloth, and hardly for about 2 seconds or 3 seconds, because he was a king, you see. And he hid himself with leaves and went to his palace and got dressed. But imagine the people, how negative they are. They just walk without clothes. Jainis, they have, you see, all kinds of taboos against all the worms, everything. It's said, these people have started, that if you do not respect these little animals, like you can say, even serpent, or any animal which is troublesome and bad, but is a human, is a living thing, so is to be preserved. Now these Jains are mad. I told you that they have gone to such a limit of vegetarianism that they try to save even the bugs, put the bugs in a hut. And the hut has got a Brahmin there. Now these bugs suck the blood of this Brahmin. And once the Brahmin is completely, I should say, sucked in by these bugs, they fall on the ground. Then they allow the Brahmin to come out and they give him a lot of dakshina, means they give him money as a reward for helping the bugs to suck his blood. This kind of vegetarianism is there. Beware of vegetarians. You see, even Hitler was a vegetarian. So you can imagine what sort of a vegetarianism it is. All these fads of vegetarianism and all that are not at all required. And that's what Mahavira showed in his life, that it is not at all important to bother about food, what issue. See, the whole theory of this vegetarianism has gone to such a nonsensical limits that I have told people that we should give up vegetarianism completely. Now also see the juxtaposition of what he wanted to do. If you do not eat proteins, you cannot fight bhoots. A person who has bhoots in him must eat a lot of proteins, not carbohydrates, but proteins, so that it can fight those left-sided enemies. But here it is, they have to be vegetarians. Now imagine there are left-sided enemies within them and they want to be vegetarians. Finished. How will they fight it? So all this is all, we should say, is pre-planned by the person who tries to sort of, we can say like this, that you see a person who tries to remove or we can say that the person who tries to make these lower animals live rather than human beings. You see, there are persons, this is the stupid thing they do. Must know that I cannot give realization to these worms and to these fishes or even to chickens. We require human beings. So all this has happened because of human beings going in juxtaposition of whatever is said. Like Christ has said, thou shalt not have adulterous eyes. And I have yet to come across a Christian who is not a Sahajogi without adulterous eyes, whether it's a woman or a man. So we go just the opposite of what we have been taught. In the case of same thing happened, that Mahavira, what he tried to do was absolutely killed by these people who are trying to make this vegetarianism as a big religion. Also another thing was that this vegetarianism came into Jainism through one fellow called Neminath, who was a Tirthankar at the time of Sri Krishna. He was to be married. In those days they were married, not only but they were eating all kinds of meats. And so many lambs and goats came for the wedding of this man. So he felt that Uparati, we call it, he didn't like, he was disgusted, he was frustrated with that. With that frustration, what did he do? He said, I will not eat meat. And that's how vegetarianism started among Jainis. And that's how it's still going on. And these Jainis, I find, are the joyless people, absolutely joyless. They are so much fond of money, they run after the money, and they go on behaving in such a peculiar way that you can't understand. I mean, they are human beings, but the way they behave, you cannot understand them. They are not normal people. So we realize that despite all that Mahavira worked out, still the people are supposed to be his disciples. They are Jains, and they are like this. So what we have to do now is to understand that in Sahaja Yoga we better not do something of that kind. Whatever you are told, you have to understand why it is so. You know the modus operandi, you know each and everything about Sahaja Yoga. You know the whole subject. So it's not proper for you to, in any way, to succumb to any such arguments or any such big talks or big advertisement and take to something that is wrong. It's very important. We are Sahajogis. We understand the balance. Of course, I always say that Westerners, for example, maybe Australians also, should take more to carbohydrates because they eat a lot of meat. So they can take to carbohydrates. But that doesn't mean vegetarianism by any chance. I mean to compensate. And in India, I always say they must take to more meats. It's good to do them good. But by no means I say that you just eat meat and nothing else. But a balance has to be found out. And once you strike it, then you'll be surprised that you feel so relaxed, so much better, so much enlightened, and the vibrations will flow much better than normal. So for food, you have to be careful. Same about with clothes, that you shouldn't go mad after a suit all the time, whether it's hot or cold or indifferent. What you have to do is to wear something that will suit you. Now, for example, in a climate like this, you may require a suit or something to cover yourself. But supposing you are in Ganpatipure, some place like that, where it's not so cold, not so hot, maybe it's dry. So what sort of a dress you should wear which is comfortable, that should be found out. And whatever you find out, that this is such a comfortable dress for us, you better do it. Because what I have seen, many, you see, it's a thing that whenever I tell you something, don't take it to the extremes and don't take a little bit of it. But when I tell you this thing, you must understand that whatever is good for you, whatever is your temperament, whatever is aptitude, you have to take something that will nourish that will improve you and give you a balance. So to balance yourself, if you think of Mahavira, you must think also of Sri Hanuman. Both these things are important. It's not easy to tell all about Mahavira in this short lecture, but I think I have quite connected him now with Serge, and you must have seen to it that how important he is and what an important role he plays. So may God bless you. Just thinking about Mahavira, it's impossible to keep it to the conscious mind. It's just going into the left all the time. Because I just in the car thought I better think about Mahavira. And since then it's all going towards the left. It's so difficult. But it will work out. My God. hope you are all very comfortable now and that you are enjoying the food as well. Also, we are approaching the fag end of our tour. This tour was arranged, as you know, like a journey through your Sushumna Nadi. At different points, different chakras. In the same way, we have passed through various places and now reached Ganpati Pure, where we have to get ourselves fully drenched with blessings of Sri Ganesh. As you know, Sahaja Yoga is a very subtler happening within us. It's a very subtler happening, and this subtler happening gives you sensitivity to divine joy. When you start getting divine joy, you don't care for any comforts, you don't care for all worldly type of pleasure-giving things. To you, this becomes the most important thing and the only thing. Apart from that, you start seeing the truth as it is. When I say you start seeing the truth, many people can misuse this word. I have seen many people saying that they can decide things on vibrations, and they have decided certain things on vibrations, but they commit mistakes. That means they have not yet grown up to that state where they can decide on vibrations. So nobody should arbitrarily decide, but consult the collective, especially your leaders, to find out if whatever decision you have taken, whatever you have thought of, is it all right or not. And one may commit lots of mistakes if you start behaving arbitrarily. The greatest law of Sahaja Yoga is that it is a collective happening. Now, as you have seen here, people are from abroad, people are from Delhi, people are from Calcutta, people from Bombay, people from villages, people from various places. The idea of all of you coming is to create the understanding of the collective. As people start becoming collective and collective, they do not bother others, they do not trouble others, but they give joy to others. They are not bothered about their going and coming, their eating and everything. They just don't behave like mundane, usual type of people. But they are very patient, saburi as they call it. They are in their patience. Now this patience is the most joy-giving thing. Patience gives you the greatest joy. When you are patient, you develop all your qualities. I think in patience you blossom the best. But patience is not be patient, be patient. Patience is also a kind of a state within us, with just this patience. Saburi as they call it. You just watch and see. Wherever you are, you are. Now some people are worried that they must get into the bus. Some people are worried they must reach back home. Some people are worried they must get their food in time. According to them, this is discipline. This is not. This is conditioning. But what is the discipline is of patience in Sahaja Yoga, where you watch everything and you are patient. If you are in the bus, you are there. If you are standing on the road, you are there. If you are walking on the road, you are there. On the contrary, it's a good idea to walk. I wish I could, but I can't, because once I start walking, everybody will fall at my feet. Nobody would spare me. So I'm just imprisoned inside a house, inside a room, all the day long, because I just can't come out. As soon as I come out, I find there are hosts of people sitting outside. But your case is not such. You are free people. They are not bound like me. So it's nice to walk a little bit in the evening time. It's a good idea. It's a very good idea, leisurely you can walk, that will digest your food. The food is rather heavy sometimes. It will make you feel better. And just know that you are walking, that's all. To feel that I have to walk, I have to go there. Once you start thinking, you get exhausted sitting here. Even if you have not walked. So it is important that patience should be made the discipline of life. How much patient we are for anything. For anything. Now as you can see, I have to sit here before I don't come, you cannot start. I have to sit here till you finish. You are all free, you can get up, walk about, come whenever you feel like. I am not. How do I manage all this? It's through my patience. But patience is my quality, is my nature, which I enjoy the most of all. Now, if I am sitting here, if nobody is there, I am enjoying it. If I am lost somewhere, I enjoy it. If I lost my way, I enjoy it. Because I am there to enjoy myself. So I think we should make a practice. Now the moon is out, beautiful moonlit nights. Try to walk down. Especially the Delhi people must walk. They don't just walk. In Delhi it's all right because you cannot walk about, there's danger and all that. But here it's better. You better walk, your health will improve, Sahaja Yoga will improve, Kundalini will improve, you'll feel much better. That's a good part of this remote place, that nobody sees you, nobody is bothered about. You can live whatever way you like, you can walk the way you like, there's nobody to bother. There's no need to have a competition or run about, but just leisurely if you walk is a good idea. I'm not saying it just to save some money out of the buses, but it is just to make you feel more healthy. Just sitting all the time, one feels very funny. Sit here, sit there, go in a taxi, go in a bus, go in a lift. You just don't move your legs. There's no exercise also in Sahaja Yoga. Walking is the best exercise for all the Sahaja Yogis, as I told you. And that's why it is important that you all should try to walk a little bit, if possible. Of course there are ladies who have children, this and that is all right, old ladies, old men. But even then it's a good idea to walk half a way and then you can go by buses. Something like that. Try to adjust yourself for these 3-4 days, you'll feel much better. I promise you, you'll feel much better when you walk. Now, the another thing which one has to learn apart from saburi, from the patience, one has to imbibe within oneself is the sweetness. If you are sweet, you are filled with humor, you do not hurt others, you are not hurt either, you see everything so beautiful and nice. That's the quality of Sri Krishna, Madhurya. Anything can be done with sweetness. That's very important. Now some people might say, Mother, sometimes you have to get angry and all that. There's no need for you. I can do that dirty job. You don't have to. You don't have to get angry with anyone. You just show your patience, your love, your kindness, your sweetness. That is how the personality of Sahaja Yoga, which is a collective being, is to be built. By people who have patience, who are sweet, outwardly, inwardly. And the third one is the genuineness. Without genuineness, we cannot enter into ourselves. Because our inner being knows what we are. If there's hypocrisy, if there's just showing off, or if there's a kind of a reservation within us, we cannot enter inside. And also the people who come in contact with such people cannot progress. So one has to be very genuine about it. And this is an individual quality, is not a samuhic quality. It's not a collective quality. All of us have to be genuine within ourselves. Because it is for our gain, for our hita. So we have to be collective because it is good for us. We have to be patient because it is good for us. And we have to be genuine because it is good for us. It's all swartha. It is all the meaning of swa. Swartha. Swa means ourselves and Artha means the meaning. And Swartha also means selfishness, but actually it is self and self and self. Now you are changed people, your personality is different, it's shining through your spirit. In that spirit you have to see everything. All your conditionings will drop out as soon as you start identifying yourself fully with the spirit. Fully, again I say, because we do not. We are still Christians, we are still Hindus, we are still Muslims, we are still Indians, English, this, that. We are still narrow-minded, small little poodles. We have to be the ocean. Once you are identified with the ocean, you have to throw away everything and become absolutely clean and detached, nisanga. So when we are singing all these songs, we are saying this. It should not be a lip service. It should be from our heart, we should feel it. But I am happy that your spirits are shining, and the spirit is enjoying, and that you are moving very smoothly upward. Little push will help you more and understanding about it. This time it has been a much better seminar as I have seen. We must have a proper seminar. Maybe tomorrow morning we might try to have a proper seminar of this brain trust or something. But most of the people who are coming will be really coming tomorrow. So I don't know, maybe tomorrow evening you can have brain trust. They'll be coming tomorrow sometime. There's hardly any time for a seminar, which I would like you all to sit down and have a proper brain trust or something. Or you can have it tomorrow morning, and also you can have it day after tomorrow sometimes. So something can be arranged by the leaders, and all the leaders of the world should meet and should do it. As the program stands, it is so. But in Sahaja Yoga, programs are never just the same. Changing is the sign of life. As I have told you, a little root has got a very little small tiny cell at the end of it, which is very discreet, and it changes its course according to the way it can penetrate into the mother earth. If there is a big boulder, it goes round and round and round to create a bondage for it later on for the tree to stand up. Then it goes into all various areas in a proper manner, whichever way is the best and sahaj. In the same way, it's a living process, and whatever works out has to be worked out in that manner. Sometimes you might sleep at 10 o'clock, sometimes you may sleep at 1 o'clock, sometimes you may sleep at any time. It depends on whatever way the things are moving. We have to be prepared for everything in a very sweet manner, with an enjoyable manner. So once we start deciding that we are going to be great Sahaja Yogis, we are here to be the Nirmalites, to fight all that is wrong, to stand for right, and to emancipate the whole humanity. If you understand the tremendous work we have to do, then you will create your own personalities in such a way that you will be able to shoulder this great responsibility. So let us see, today is the beginning of this understanding between us, that we are not going to grow by demanding, by asking, by getting worried about ourselves, but just be in joy. Just be in joy. And this is what is lacking in some people, and that's why they cannot enjoy. They are all the time worried, how will they reach there, how will they come here, what is the arrangement, what is this, what is that. Just take it easy, and things will work out for you. That's how you are going to enjoy life. May God bless you.
Before we begin, I'd like to introduce myself to those of you in the room. My name is Barbara Schuler, and I do a radio program on a station from Monterey called Discovery, which is usually on Wednesdays from 1 to 2:30, and it's going to be now on Thursdays from 11 to 11:30 to 1 o'clock. And it's my privilege to be here to do a taped interview for my listeners. So for the listeners, I would like to say that we're at the Kenneland Campgrounds in Santa Cruz, and this is an interview with Her Holiness Mataji. Mother, today there were many things said about Sahaja Yoga, about your philosophy, and very little was said about who you are as a person. And I thought it would be good to start out with some questions about who you are, who were you as a child, what people influenced you, what brought you to the place you are today as a luminous being sitting before me and before us.
I'm a very ancient being. The problem is like this. What can I tell you about myself? I just don't know what part will interest you. But only thing I can say that I was born with this understanding and awareness that I have to find out a method by which I could give mass realization to. I was a realized soul, of course. I knew all about it from my very child. But the problem was that how to make many people get it. Because if one person gets it, or one person has it, if one person is an incarnation, people don't understand. Not only that, but they may even try to destroy such a person. That's what happened to all the saints who came on this earth. Christ was crucified, Muhammad Sahib was given poison, because they were ignorant. They did not know what it was, what was he saying. So it was important, first of all, to find out a method how to give them mass realization. And from that angle, I just thought that this is why I am on this earth, and I have to do this job, for which I wanted to study about human beings. I took my birth in a Christian family, and that too a family which was Protestant family, because I felt that Protestants are fanatics but very sophisticated. And they rationalize everything to such an extent that nobody can see beyond it. So I better take my birth in them. And my father and mother had already taken birth, whom I had chosen as my parents. They were great people, realized souls, and especially my father was a person who knew why I was on this earth. Even my mother knew about it. So a special rapport was between them and me, and they could understand why I was busy meditating or finding out about how to give realization to others. Then I would say my father was a very learned man who knew about 14 languages, who translated Quran-e-Sharif into Hindi, who was a member of the Constituent Assembly. He made our constitution. Also, he was the only Christian to be elected in those days. And then my mother was a honors in mathematics, all very well educated and nice people. They dedicated their life to the cause of, if we are not free, we cannot do anything on religious basis. This one thing is to be free from this level. And that's how I also helped them a lot, and our whole family suffered a lot. And I went through terrible times at a very young age. I was with Mahatma Gandhi also because he liked me very much as a child, so I stayed on with him. Then I used to come back to study again, go back to him. He used to call me Nepali because my face has a Nepali face. And he used to talk to me as if he's talking to his grandmother sometimes. It was very sweet, and he was a very sweet man, extremely sweet person to children.
very strict with himself and strict with others, elderly people. But with children, he was very, very sweet and kind and would try to learn from children a lot of things. It was surprising how he understood that there's a lot of wisdom with the children sometimes than with the older people who are mixed up. Now we got our independence and we had a very bad setback because of the partition we had in our country. And I was studying in Lahore Medical College there because I wanted to know about medicine, what these people call such and such thing, because I knew all this, but I knew about the body, I knew about everything, what you call the complete nervous system, but I did not know what was the vocabulary attached to it, so I studied there for 2 years. And after that, this war broke out, so I had to discontinue with my studies, and my parents wanted me to get married. And then I found that my marriage was important. I agreed to marry, and I married this gentleman, Mr. C.P. Srivastava. Then, during all that time, my only pastime or the full-time work was to find out about human beings. What's the problem they have? What they avoid reality, how they shun it, how they run away from it, what are their problems, how are they seeking, what do they have to offer, what will they accept, how to handle them. It was quite an intricate question. Every person provided a new sample of problems, and I had to fight it out in a way that it was a system which I knew how to do it, because to enter into somebody subtly to understand the problems of the Kundalini, you can go into the journey and find out about a person. And then I found out the permutations and combinations of their problems. So it is like you can say that like periodic tables, you have to divide them into 3, then into 7, then into their permutations and combinations. So you can imagine 3 into 7 raised to power eternity. It was like that. But doesn't matter, it worked out. And in the year 1970, on the 5th of May, I was a little bit hesitant at that time. I thought I should wait, but certain circumstances made me to open the last center. And when I opened the last center, we started working with others on our scale. But still, I gave realization only to one lady who came to my house. I tried if it works out with her. And I gave a realization by touching her centers one by one, 6 centers, and then bringing out the Kundalini on top of the head.
What does it mean to open the
Sahasrara?
The last center?
Last center is the center which is the limbic area, where is the seat of all the 7 centers. It's all integration there. So far, everybody who has come, like Christ has come on this center, what we call the Agya Chakra, or Krishna has come on this center, which is the Vishuddhi Chakra. Like that, they have been appearing on every center of ours, giving us a new dimension to our awareness. And that's how our awareness has improved to this extent. And now the time is for you to get your absolute, to get your spirit, that your spirit must shine into your attention, that you should have your self-realization, that you should have your second birth. That's the time. And that is only possible if baptism, the real baptism works out, real. Not artificial, somebody coming and putting the hand on your head and saying, now you are baptized. That's not the way. But it is a real thing that happens, that you start feeling the cool breeze of the Holy Ghost coming out. So, then I started giving first of all realization without confronting any kind of opposition or anything. I started with one lady, then I went ahead with it. Then the first 12 people got realization. Then I was very happy because our mass realization has started. Then gradually it started working out. I went to
Indian villages. I thought they are better, simple people. First work on the simpler people. And they got realization. Now we have thousands of people in the villages who have got realization. They have dropped out all their bad habits. They have become very creative. They are doing very well. They are very happy. And they are experts. So many of them are experts, I can say, in India now, whom we call as Sahajogi, maybe in thousands. Some are working in the villages, some are working in some cities. So we have lots of people now in India who can do this job.
This all happened since 1970.
I started.
You started.
Yeah.
I have a question that's important to me and to many people who are searching for something or seeking perhaps what you call self-realization or Sahaja Yoga or something. Some of us don't know exactly what it is.
Yes,
and we find that there are many teachers. How do we recognize those teachers that you might call fraudulent from the real ones? It's so difficult because they all seem to be able to inspire us in certain ways and give us experiences. How do we know who is teaching something that's true and who is being deceptive?
First and foremost thing is, anybody who lives on your earnings is not a guru. A guru will never live on the earnings of his disciples. But here there are people who have built palaces, bought aircrafts and cars and this. I mean, this is something one should understand. It's so open to you to understand. I mean, I cannot understand more obvious thing that this one is. That it's a parasitic living, and you cannot have a parasites as your gurus. They can be parasites, but not your gurus. That's one of the things. And if you get, I mean, you can retain some people, you know. If you want, because you are rich people, you can retain some. That's a different point. But you cannot have them as gurus. Guru has to be a higher personality, you see. Now, you have seen Christ was such a great incarnation. He didn't take any money from anyone. He was a carpenter's son and he used to do carpentry himself and he lived like a modest man. He never lived with big cars and big houses. It's not necessary because such a person is himself is a very big king, you see, like a big emperor. He doesn't need anything. An emperor doesn't need anything because nothing can give him comfort except that he himself is in complete comfort. So such a person doesn't want anything. So you must see that such a person has no needs of comfort at all. He can sleep on the ground, he can sleep anywhere. Now, in this life, I should say I come from quite a wealthy family or married to another wealthy man. You can say that way, according to your own relative ideas. But to me, I can sleep anywhere. I have no problem. I have no problem of food, no problem of sleeping anywhere, no comfort, and I find it is beyond my self-respect to live on the earnings of others. It's not proper. But you are my children, supposing now you bring a flower to me or something, it's all right. But I can't have a palace out of your money and all this. It's absurd, absolutely absurd. So this is one thing one should know, that it pampers our ego, that we can purchase our guru. We can purchase our self-realization. You see, this is a very subtle pampering. And that's how people accept. You see, they don't want to accept a person who says, cannot offer anything, it's too much for them. Or maybe that, secondly, could be that people think that if you pay something, then you get attached to it, you go through it, whatever it is. Say you have paid for a ticket, and you find that the whole play is horrid, you can't bear it, but you have to go through it because you have paid for it. That's a human nature, you see. That's a human nature. I have seen that they do it. And that's what it works out. But this is very gross level, I'm telling you. But another should be that in these modern times it is promised that you will become prophets. You have to become prophets. So you must see, have you become prophets out of these? It's easiest is to see the disciples of this man. Any XYZ who says he's a guru. Now what is happening to the disciple? Is he a free person? Has he got any knowledge? Has he got any mastery? What has he achieved by being with that person? Now you have seen here there are Sahajogis, one better than the other. You talk to them, they are knowledge.
Some of them have met me only for say 8 days or so, they have become knowledge. So what have they achieved, you should say? What is their style of life, their pattern of life, how they behave? And there cannot be any privacy about it. You see, like mafia, you don't tell that and you don't say that and you shouldn't do that. Of course, in Sahaja Yoga, the truth is exposed gradually. But it is not like this that if you give some money, nobody knows. Everybody knows everything in Sahaja. You see, now supposing we have to build an ashram, say for example. All right, you build your ashram, you collect your money, do what you like and know about it. I have nothing to do with it. Also among yourself, you should know how you got the money, how you spent it, what is the expense and all that. Because ashram you can pay for, but not for your realization. And this is one thing, it's very important, that what you get out of it is important. That you should become a prophet. Have you become a prophet? Then thirdly, you must know that if you are going from one to another, what we call guru shopping business, that means you have not found it. Otherwise you would just settle down. But some people are so weak that they do settle down with one and are finished with that. You must always see the people who go to these gurus, what have they got? Have they got their transformation? Because this is the age of transformation.
Mataji, what about teachers or gurus who produce miracles? You go to a guru who will materialize something out of the air and say this is divine.
This is all jugglery. It's all jugglery. And also, you see, now supposing somebody says, I produce a diamond. Now these people come from India. Why don't they solve the financial problem of India? Secondly, you see, at every point they can be challenged. You should say that, then all right. One gentleman came to me and said that he gave me a diamond. I said, why you? How many diamonds you have? He said, hundreds. Then I said, why did he give you? You should give to your driver who hasn't got a diamond. You see, that is what it is. So it is all jugglery. You should see those who materialize. What have they given you? They have to give you something eternal. If they talk about God, God is not going to give you diamond. Which God has given diamonds to people? Have you heard of anyone giving diamonds? No. So you should ask for something which is the highest, which is the supremost. Now the fourth thing, which is very important, that whatever experiences you get, for example, some people start just like jumping, some start shouting, some start behaving like animals, and they say, oh, that's what is coming out, you're taking out, you see. They feel very bad, they get horrible diseases, they get into troubles, and they get into pains, and all sorts of things, and contortions. They say, now your subconscious is coming out. Nothing has to be brought out. That's one thing you must know. The subconscious, as I told you, is on the left-hand side, and the supraconscious on the right-hand side. What you have to do is to ascend in the center and come up. Above your head is the super consciousness. And when you become that, then you develop collective consciousness. So those who want you to become like frogs, again, you must know that you are not going to become frogs anymore. That's not anyway evolution. The evolution has to go higher, not becoming frogs or earthworms, you see. And if you start crawling, it is simple mesmerism. Anybody mesmerizes can do these tricks, you see. It's simple mesmerism. And then to believe that now you are surrendered and all that is all nonsense, you see. It has no meaning to realization. In realization, you just become the master. You become the master of it. There are many people in this country who came and lured you by their talks also, talking big about Brahma, Atma Tattva, this, that and everything. That is not the way you can, that is what is just the pendulum moving from Christian sermon to Hindu sermon, and from Hindu sermon to Islamic sermon, from there to the Rabbi sermon. It goes on like that, you see. That's not the way. You have to rise higher within yourself. And that's why those who lecture about these things are really sometimes can be very, very dangerous. And so many have died of cancer, this, that. I don't know what to say, that people who go to these people get into very bad troubles and suffer so much. And then on top of that, when all this happens, they say, you must suffer.
That's a very good excuse. You must suffer. You must pay to suffer. You pay money to suffer. And then people go on suffering. Now one thing I have to tell you, that Christ has suffered for us. We don't have to suffer anymore. Those who deny his suffering will have to go for suffering. All right, have it. But he suffered for us. There is no need for us to suffer anymore. When he is awakened within us, he takes away all that is our ego, means our karmas, our superego, that is our conditioning, completely removed, and you become one with the divine. There is no need for anybody to suffer. And this idea of suffering is all nonsensical. You should not suffer at all.
Good. I'm glad it's over. Mataji, you're called Mother. It seems that in the Hindu tradition there's a special context or meaning of the word mother. What is this meaning?
You see, in the Indian philosophy, even in the Christian philosophy it is so, but it has been little bit changed. If you read the books of Essenes, you will find they have described the mother. You see, the Holy Ghost is the mother. When they say about the Holy Ghost, she is the mother. But how can you have, you must reason it out, how can you have a father and a son without a mother? It's a simple thing like that, you see. So it's the mother only. Holy Ghost is very important. So Holy Ghost is the mother. You see, an absurd thing. I mean, to have such a thing. Even homosexuals cannot have children. It's a funny thing, isn't it? Absolutely absurd. But Christians accepted this. I don't know why. Why didn't they go in to find out what is this Holy Ghost business is? They said it's a mystery. How can you say it's a mystery? When you cannot explain, then better not say anything about it. So Holy Ghost is something hanging in the air. No one knows. It's a mystery. And the rest of it is the Father and the Son. It's absurd. Now, the principle of mother is in every scripture, has to be there. Now the mother's character is that she is the one who is the womb. She is the one who is the mother. And she is the one who nourishes you. She nourishes us, you know that. And this feminine thing in every human being resides as this kundalini, as you have seen it. And when she rises, she gives you this new awareness, which becomes compassion, which is flowing, which becomes soothing, nourishing energy of love. And that's what today people are saying, feminist, this thing and all that. That's again a pendulum, a man becoming a woman, woman becoming a man. All these problems here are because of this. But when you move spirally upward, then where do you move? You become a personality full of compassion, of love, of universal understanding through collective consciousness. And then you rise up to a position where you become universally conscious. So that is what should happen to you. And if that happens, then we should say that your motherly qualities within you have risen. And that's what we have so far neglected. You do not become a woman, but you become motherly. First the father, then the son, and now the mother. All right?
What is the role of woman in this world, the role of the feminine principle?
I would say, I don't say that women who are born as women only have the role, even the men have, everyone has, because everyone has kundalini within them. But the women must know that if they are women, they have a greater responsibility. Not that they should sit at home and only look after children and brood and then nag the husbands when they come home. That's not their role. The role is such that they have to be forbearing. Any person who is the mother has to be like the mother earth. How much she is forbearing, how much she suffers. We dig her out, we torture her life, still she is giving all the time, she is soothing, forgiving, bearing it out. We are doing so many sinful things, I mean she should explode really the way it is. But she does not. She is very careful, she slowly informs that now get out of this place, this rumbling. She is so kind. You see, that all should come to us. So it's not that it is only the women who should settle down with these qualities, but the time has come that men have to have these qualities. Otherwise there will be always an imbalance. So now the men have to become extremely kind, affectionate, compassionate, give up that competitive spirit, that fighting spirit like Napoleon had. All those ideas are outdated. Now whom do you respect? People like Mahatma Gandhi or Abraham Lincoln. Everyone, an American, should think of Abraham Lincoln.
Yes, indeed. Mother, what are we doing here? What is the purpose of life on Earth? What are human beings walking around on this planet for?
You are specially made by God, you are specially chosen by God to be human beings, and you are here with a very great purpose. The first purpose of God is that you should become the vehicle of God's powers completely, so that He flows through you. He flows into this atmosphere, into this universe, to make it a divine place. When you get realization, what happens? All your abnormalities drop out and you become very normal person. And these vibrations of cool breeze start flowing. With this now you can give it to Mother Earth. You can give it to the plants. You can give it to the trees. The whole thing becomes a garden of Allah, where you reside in complete joy and happiness. The second purpose is that God has prepared you now to settle into His kingdom. That's your throne. That's your right to be there. It could have been short-circuited at a time when Adam and Eve were called and told not to go into this so-called book of knowledge or the fruit of knowledge. But they didn't listen. You see, if you give freedom to someone, then what's wrong? So they started doing things which were brought to them by a satanic force, and they accepted it. So that was the original sin we have committed. So they had to take incarnations, do all those things, and now brought it to this level where human beings have to be brought again back to the position where they were to go.
Mother, what is the true nature of death? Is it possible that we can choose not to die? What's the purpose of death?
See, death is just like changing your clothes. So sometimes when you use too much of your clothes, get tired, you want to change it. Like that, death is, nobody dies. There's nothing that dies, except that the part that is the Mother Earth and the part that is the water falls off, and you remain as you are. But if you are a realized soul, then you have a choice. If you want to be born again, you would like to be born. If you don't want to be born, you will not be born. But after realization, it becomes your choice. If you want to die, you can die. If you don't want to die, you need not die. But you won't, because you think that let us die and come back as new people again to help Mother.
Many of us have heard discussions or read in books about the evolution of matter, the evolution of substance. What are your views on evolving matter, and how does this relate to our own physical matter in our bodies, our cells?
So the matter did go into evolution, you know that. And when the carbon was established, actually our first chakra was established, that's carbon, which is tetravalent. And carbon is the one we started producing amino acids. You see, when amino acid started manifesting itself, then the other processes took place by which the evolution of, say, from amoeba to human stage took place. That also we understand very well after getting realization how we became from amoeba to human stage. And after human stage, we have to achieve our self-realization, means the spirit which is in our heart has to manifest in our attention, or we have to feel it on central nervous system. But what is the relationship between matter and this? We should see that point is important. Now through the matter all our centers are made. For example, the two centers that are down below are made of the Mother Earth principle, and then another one and another one like that. All these elements have contributed to make the centers, and these centers are just like mirrors made, and the reflection of the divine falls on them. Then at a human level, the matter improves so much, goes into such evolutionary processes that the reflection at the heart level improves so much that the spirit shines there and the Kundalini is properly set for your evolution, which is the epitome of evolution. Like this instrument that is made one by one, first collecting this part, that part, then put together. Now the time has come for you to be put to the mains. Now this has nothing to do with the electricity, if you see. It exists without electricity, but it can carry the electricity. In the same way, we become the lamp, and when we become the lamp, the light can be brought in and we become enlightened. So there is a big relationship between the lamp and the light. But light can not exist without the lamp, so lamp has to be there.
Mother, can I ask you a question about sex?
Yes, please.
It was stated today that sex has nothing to do with evolution the way it's been described in Sahaja Yoga. What does this mean?
You see, the thing is that we think that by doing sex or by going into sex we can evolve is absolutely false. You have not become a human being from amoeba to this stage by doing sex, because animals all do sex, everybody does sex. If they do it or not makes no difference. The thing is, the evolution takes place only through your seeking. When you start seeking something, then only you evolve. And the seeking first was for food, if you see in the animals, was for food. You see, sex was spontaneous. They don't think about it, they don't read about it, they don't have any education about it, nothing. Sex comes spontaneously, just like your breathing, you see. You don't have to have, as you have in your schools now, teaching sex. What is there to teach? I don't understand. I mean, it is such a spontaneous thing. On the contrary, the more you talk about it, the worse it becomes, you see. And the more it becomes a brain thing, you cannot do sex with your brain, you see. So it's all a nonsensical thing. All these things have added to your problems of impotency and all sorts of things in this country. Too much thinking about sex. At the time of sex, you are nowhere. You are lost. So what's the use of such a life, you see? So the people who think about sex too much are really very unnatural people. They are very unnatural. To be natural is to keep it spontaneous, to live very spontaneously. Of course, as an Indian lady, it is too much to speak on details, but I would say that we are not supposed to even say the word sex in Indian life. You see, it's like that, you see. But I think we are very potent people. The amount of children we are producing, you can never produce, even if you want to. So, now the thing is that as a mother, I give all sort of grace to these people, grace marks, I should say, when they said that the sex can take you to Kundalini, because, you know, in the beginning, they must have tried something like that, and they must have seen the expression of the deity, which has got a trunk, you see, which is settled on the center. We call it as Ganapati, who actually incarnated as Christ on this earth later on. But he is the Ganapati, and there you see just the trunk. And they must have misunderstood that this trunk is the Kundalini because it has a shape like that. And that's why they might have said it. But it's the most dangerous thing. If you go through sex, then you open yourself absolutely to hell. If you go towards sex and try to come to God, is absolutely wrong. See, Christ has gone to such a limit because Christ was born here, and he looks after our all optic lobes and all this part of the eyes. And what he said, thou shalt not have adulterous eyes. Just see. What does that mean? That means you have innocent eyes. He was innocent. He was the embodiment of innocence. Thou shalt not have adulterous eyes. No lust and no greed in your eyes. Now, it's only possible if Christ is awakened within you. Once he's awakened within you, then you will have your innocence and you will also lose the lust from your eyes. Eyes will be absolutely looking but not getting involved. That sort of a thing will happen to you. So the sex, which is a normal thing to do, has to be sanctified by collective people, should be done in a proper way so that you get good children. The marriage should be sanctified collectively and should be done in a proper way and should be looked after. Because now of course, people are on a different line, but when I had come 10 years back, when I told them that you have to have sanity about sex, they were very angry and they said, you are Victorian. They called me Queen Victoria. But now I think they have learnt a lesson, because I had told them that you will get a disease which you will not be able to overcome. Don't do all this nonsense of perversion. It's very nonsensical. But even now they are trying to evade the issue. Don't try to evade the issue. You can be cured of that disease if you can awaken your innocence within yourself. Through the grace of Christ only we can do it.
Mother, we have heard that when we learn love, then we shall have will. What is the relationship between love and will?
When we'll have love, then we'll have will. Good. Love is when you become the Spirit, because Spirit is nothing but God's love. It's all-pervading power. It's Spirit. So when you know that love, which is not attachment, it's not attachment. You see, like a sap rises in the tree, it goes to the even to the trunk, and then to the branches, to the leaves, to the flowers, to everyone. It doesn't settle down into one flower. If it does, then the flower dies and the tree also dies. So it is not attached, but it is nourishing. It does what it has to do. That kind of a love, which is absolutely without any conditions, unconditional, without any lust, without any greed, that kind of a love, when you will know, that is only possible when you will become the Spirit. Then you will know the will of God. The will of God, what is to be done. Because you don't know. Now you have to, then when you get your realization, what happens? This cool breeze is like a computer working. You ask the computer, now, should I do this work? If it is yes, you will have cool vibrations. If not, no vibrations. So you will know His will. Thy will be done. You see, how do you know His will? Then you just know. You become the knowledge. When you become the knowledge, when you become the love, then you become the knowledge. Even in everyday life, if you love somebody, you know a lot about that person.
Mother, this afternoon you said something very interesting in response to a question by a woman. And the response that you gave was that service and sacrifice are a myth, or is a myth. Can you describe what you meant by that?
You see, when I said that when you become a saint, in the sense when you become a realized soul, you find that you are collectively conscious. Then what happens that if somebody has got a problem, you feel it on your fingertips. Now you rub your fingertips and the person feels all right. Now you have done no service, you have done no sacrifice. It's your finger that is in trouble. Now if you rub your finger, who is the other? You see, this comes out of ignorance. And those in India, actually, they knew it so well that those people who talked of sacrifice and service were called as Shudras, means untouchables. That means they had no knowledge about it. Those people who talked that we'll serve you, you'll do this dirty work of yours, that dirty work of yours, they were called as Shudras. They are not the people who should be touched, because they have no awareness that the all-pervading power of God is there, which does everything. What you have to do is to just become one with it. And once you are one with the whole primordial being, say on your body, if there's a pain somewhere, you just rub it. All right, you rub it and it's all right. There's no obligation on it. In any way, you have not served anyone, you have not obliged anyone. So the concept that you are one with the whole itself is the noble concept. And those people who do not have that concept cannot understand. They think we are serving others, we are looking after others. Who is the other, I ask them. Who is the other? That is why this is the concept with which Indians have always lived. That's something good they have. But they also picked up, you see, when your missionaries went there, they also started their missions. They start serving and all that. Now to the poor people, now how do we serve? We serve in this way in Sahaja Yoga, that once they get their realization, they don't remain so poor at all. You see, because first of all, the poor people have bad habits of drinking, all those things drop on them. So all that money doesn't go into nonsensical. Secondly, they get those vibrations. Now whatever work they are in, they become dynamic. They have no health problem. They don't have to go to the doctors. They become healthy people. Mentally, they are so alert that they do better than any other. We have seen people who came to me and said that our children are very bad at school, must do something about them. When they got their realization, now they stood first. They got all the scholarships, everything. They are doing so well. So such people become also materially better off. They don't become extraordinarily rich, but they become materially well off, satisfied people. You see, also dissatisfaction is another poverty. Because you are dissatisfied. I think those are the greatest poor people, because they are never satisfied. But the people who are realized souls are satisfied souls. They know how to live well and they are helped. Like Krishna has said it, yoga kshema vahamyam. He said, I'll give you kshema after yoga. First he said yoga. And kshema means your well-being. So well-being acts after yoga, not before.
Mother, in the West there's a great, especially I would say in this part of the West, on the West Coast, there's a great interest in subjects such as Kabbalah, tarot, astrology, spiritual alchemy. How does Sahaja Yoga relate to these? What are your
I
views
can't
on
understand. That means they are not seekers, those who have such interest. You see, because these things relate to a material life.
How do they relate to a material
You see,
life?
because Kabbalah will tell you when will you get married, or how much money you'll have, what race you'll win, all those things. You see, God has no interest in these things. You see, all these things are spiritual alchemy. How will you change this into gold? And what does it matter, gold and all those things? What are so important? Isn't it the most important thing is to be your spirit? And those who are seeking the spirit are real seekers. All others are seeking money in some other form. You see, and then when they go to these people, actually these are nothing but spirits, and they get possessed by spirits, and they have a horrible time. You see, one should never indulge into these things. Christ has warned the most of all, and we are doing it. So often it's very wrong to ask for anything material like that. Why should we have easy money like that? It's not good. I think through some spirit helping you or something. I don't know if it really helps. It may a little bit help, but give you greater trouble. Like one lady had a problem with her husband. You see, she said that he's a bad man, he's a flirt and all that. She went to such a woman, and he became, as far as she's concerned, he gave up flirting, but he started racing. Then he got lost in racing. Then she went there and she said that now he should be all right from racing, he should get out. So he started drinking. And after some time he started doing all the three things, you see. So it was too much. So this kind of nonsense we should not indulge into if you are seekers. But there are a category of people who are seekers, that's what I feel. And those who are seekers are getting into it should get out of it and get to your spirit.
What's the role of the artist in this work, this Sahaja Yoga? An artist, artistic work, like music and painting.
Tremendous it is. You see, those people who have been realized souls have created eternal art. Like we can say, Michelangelo was a realized soul. So his work is eternal art. They produce art which creates vibrations. You can feel vibrations from him. In the whole church, if you go, you feel horrid, but when you go to Sistine Chapel and see his work, the whole thing fills you up with vibration. They are creators of vibrations, imagine. The musicians like Mozart creates vibrations, but Wagner, you see. So they are the people who are realized souls. You have some tennis players who are realized souls also, perhaps.
Tennis players?
Know. Yeah. McEnroe is a realized soul, and Borg is also. And my grandchild told me, you know why Borg has retired? Because another Sahaj Yogi has come now, the younger one, so give chance to him. And that's why he is very honorably retired. It's because when McEnroe speaks, you must have seen, he tells himself, John, now behave yourself. They are in the third person. And that's why people don't understand him, and he doesn't like to be insulted. And that's very true. Anybody who is a saint doesn't like him to be insulted. So like that, you have so many people who are realized souls, we can say. Even the Princess of Wales is a realized soul, and the new child is a realized soul. So there are so many people like that who are realized souls.
the listeners who will be tuning into this program on the radio won't have had the experience of being in your presence. Some of them may have, who are in this room. What can you say to them about how to become a realized soul, or how to achieve this cool breeze that comes from
At the beginning
touch
of my
this?
lecture, if you tell them that they should put their hands towards the radio, just turn the radio, they might feel the cool breeze. If they don't feel it, then tell them to put the right hand first till they feel the cool breeze, and left hand up as if ventilating out. And then the left hand towards the radio and the right hand up. It might work out because it has worked in Hong Kong.
Well, I'll tell you something interesting. I interviewed Danny and Doug before you came so that listeners would have a chance to come here. And one of them called me and said that he went into a meditation in the afternoon and felt the cool breeze just by hearing them talk.
See, if Sahaja Yogis can do it, then when I am talking, it should happen.
We're about at the end of the interview, and what I want to do now, Mother, is give you a chance to say what's in your heart to say. What is there that you wish to share that has not been said this evening?
You have to say that America is a great country in the universe. It has the place of the Vishuddhi Chakra, which is the center of responsibility and discretion. And they have been so responsible so far. They have given such noble ideas of democracy and of freedom and all those things which are really all belonging to God's ideas. And when they talk of all these things, we must know that there is something much more that they can give to the whole world. So many saints are born in this country because they realize that this is the country where they will be able to prosper better into their spirituality. So it is a very great responsibility of Americans to understand that we have had great leaders, we have had great noble ideals, we have got great saints living here. So many are anxious to come down here. Only thing what we have to do is to establish within ourselves our spirit and to be ready and prepared for this great, tremendous work that is going to come now. And this is what the world has to do. If emancipation of the humanity has to take place, it has to take place only from inside out and not outside in. Another thing I would like to tell, that the danger is not from outside for America, not from anywhere else. It is from within themselves. So be careful. We have to be careful about ourselves, the way we are destroying. When we say what's wrong, we go headlong into our destructions. Human beings should not take freedom as abandonment, but freedom to enjoy completely and fully. The freedom that takes you to a destruction is not freedom. And the right idea of freedom must be taken, and people should know that freedom, ultimate freedom, is when you become your own master. When there are no habits, when you cannot be dominated by anything, you are above everything. That's the freedom you have to achieve. And that is why people talked long time back in this country about freedom. They helped all the countries to get their freedom, and now it is their job to get them their own freedom within themselves so that others will also follow. May God bless you all.
Thank you, Mother.
May God bless you. Good? That was really nice of her to give so much time. You see, it's important because your videos are also for Sahaja Yoga created. Everything is for Sahaja Yoga. They have to act for Sahaja Yoga only because this has to spread everywhere. Christ could not have met the whole world, you see. I can
हज़रात, आज वो मुबारक दिन है कि हमारी पालनहार आदि शक्ति माँ, जो मेरी नहीं हम सबकी करम फरमा सरपरस्ती करने वाली हैं और करती रहेंगी। आज चूँकि होली का अवसर भी है, मैं हज़रत अमीर खुसरो रहमतुल्लाह अलैह का लिखा हुआ रंग पेश कर रहा हूँ। माँ समाज में यहाँ फरमाइए। होली कहती है शगुफों की तरह खिल जाओ।
होली कहती है शगुफों की तरह खिल जाओ।
होली का दिन है, फजा हुस्न से मामूर भी है और रस्म दुनिया भी है, मौका भी है, दस्तूर भी है। होली कहती है शगुफों की तरह खिल जाओ और होली वालों यही मौका है, गले मिल जाओ। होली वालों यही मौका है, गले मिल जाओ। दोस्तों, माँ की कृपा जहाँ पे छाएगी,
माँ की कृपा जहाँ पे छाएगी,
माँ की कृपा जहाँ पे छाएगी और सारी दुनिया सहज में आएगी।
माँ की कृपा जहाँ पे छाएगी, सारी दुनिया सहज में आएगी।
तो मेरी माता का जिस पे करम हो गया,
मेरी माता का जिस पे करम हो गया,
मेरी माता का जिस पे करम हो गया, वो सतम शिवम करम हो गया, वो सतम
चढ़ी रसूल की सुरंग मौला के चढ़ी रसूल की सुरंग मौला के चढ़ी रसूल की सुरंग मौला के हाथ, जिसके कपड़े रंग दिए, अरे जिसके कपड़े रंग दिए, सुधन धनवा के भाग।
अरे आज रंग है माता रंग है, यहाँ एक से बढ़कर एक हंसी है,
एक से बढ़कर एक हंसी है,
एक से बढ़कर एक हंसी,
एक से बढ़कर एक हंसी है, एक से बढ़कर एक हंसी है, एक से बढ़कर एक हंसी है, एक से बढ़कर एक हंसी है। तुमने सब कोई नहीं है, मोहे पीर पायो मोहे पीर पायो, मोजे गम सर उठा भी सकती है,
मुझे गम सर उठा भी सकती है,
मुझे गम सर उठा नहीं सकती,
मुझे गम सर उठा नहीं सकती,
बेबसी पास आ नहीं सकती,
बेबसी पास आ नहीं सकती,
मुझे गम सर उठा नहीं सकती,
मुझे गम सर उठा नहीं सकती,
बेबसी पास आ नहीं सकती,
बेबसी पास आ नहीं सकती,
जिसमें निर्मल माँ की इनायत हो गई, अरे उसको दुनिया मिटा नहीं सकती। मोहे पीर पायो निजामुद्दीन में होया, निजामुद्दीन में होया,
अरे मैं तो ऐसो रंग और नहीं देखी निर्मल ऐसो रंग, मेरी निर्मल माता मैं तो ऐसो रंग, निर्मल माता मैं तो ऐसो रंग और मेरी निर्मल माता मैं तो ऐसो रंग, मेरी निर्मल माता मैं तो ऐसो रंग, मेरी निर्मल माता मैं तो ऐसो रंग और नहीं
ऐसो रंग और नहीं देखी, मैं तो ऐसो रंग और नहीं देखी। मुझे सूफी साहब बताइए, न छुपाइए न छुपाइए,
मुझे सूफी साहब बताइए, न छुपाइए न छुपाइए,
मुझे सूफी साहब बताइए, न छुपाइए न छुपाइए।
होली खेली है आपने, होली खेली है आपने, ढोलते हुए हो गुलाल में,
ऐसो रंग निर्मल माता
देश
योगिनी, सहज योगिनी, सहज दायिनी, सहज गुण गुरधारिणी, सहज योगिनी, सहज दायिनी, सहज गुण गुरधारिणी, स्नेह सलिला निर्मला माघेश्वरी भवतारिणी, स्नेह सलिला निर्मला माघेश्वरी दुखहारिणी, सहज योगिनी, सहज योगिनी, सहज दायिनी, सहज गुण गुरधारिणी, सहज योगिनी, सहज दायिनी, सहज गुण गुरधारिणी, स्नेह सलिला निर्मला माघेश्वरी दुखहारिणी, स्नेह सलिला निर्मला माघेश्वरी दुखहारिणी। सहज आत्मानंद परमानंद सुख विस्तारिणी, सहज आत्मानंद माँ, सहज आत्मानंद परमानंद सुख विस्तारिणी, सहज आत्मानंद सुख विस्तारिणी, देवी रूपा शक्ति रूपा विश्वरूपा मातृ विश्वाधारिणी, शक्ति रूपा विश्वरूपा मातृ विश्वाधारिणी, सहज दायिनी, सहज सरला निर्मला माघेश्वरी दुखहारिणी, स्निग्धहासिनी, स्निग्धहासिनी, मधुर भासिनी, अगम निगम विचारिणी, स्निग्धहासिनी, स्निग्धहासिनी, मधुर भासिनी, अगम निगम विचारिणी, स्निग्धहासिनी, रोग भय संताप चिंता, रोग भय संताप चिंता, शोक दुख सब हारिणी, स्नेह सलिला निर्मला माघेश्वरी दुखहारिणी, स्नेह सलिला निर्मला माघेश्वरी दुखहारिणी। हर सहज योगी से शरणागत से समव्यवहारिणी, हर सहज योगी से शरणागत से समव्यवहारिणी, हर सहज योगी से शरणागत से समव्यवहारिणी, प्रार्थना बिन याचना बिन, प्रार्थना बिन याचना बिन, प्रार्थना बिन याचना बिन, सर्वजन उपकारिणी, माघेश्वरी दुखहारिणी, स्नेह सरला निर्मला माघेश्वरी दुखहारिणी, सहज योगिनी, सहज दायिनी, सहज गुण गुरधारिणी, सहज योगिनी, सहज दायिनी, सहज गुण गुरधारिणी। साथ में आप लोग भी बोलिए, देखो याद हुआ कि नहीं आपको, मुखा गाइए, सहज योगिनी, सहज दायिनी, सहज गुण
इन महाकलाकारों ने इतना कुछ कह दिया है कि मानो निर्गुण सारा ही साकार हो गया और अब मुझे कुछ कहने का ही नहीं। बस इतना ही है कि कल आप लोग सब यहाँ पधारे और इस आनंद सागर में समाकर निरानंद का उपभोग लें। इन महान कलाकारों के लिए माँ क्या धन्यवाद दे सकती, माँ तो धन्यवाद देती ही नहीं और सबको अनंत आशीर्वाद है। जो भी इन्होंने कहा वो सब परिपूर्ण होगा। अनंत आशीर्वाद सारे ही आप कलाकारों को, सबको जो यहाँ पर बम्बई से आए और आकर के सबको आनंद से आडोलित किया, इसके लिए आप सभी तालियां बजाकर इनका अभिनंदन करें।
माता सब जाने बिन बोले माता सब जाने इस बालक की क्या है जरूरत नाम निर्मला निर्मल अंतर में करुणा का सागर सहज योग का अमृत बाटे सहज योग का अमृत बाटे भर लो जिसकी जितनी गागर जीवन होगा, सहज सहज से जीवन होगा, सहज यहाँ जीवन रख सबका हित चिंतन करती, सबका हित चिंतन करती, माँ सबका हित चिंतन करती, सब जीवों को चेतन करती, पारस मणि का स्पर्श है माँ का, पारस मणि का स्पर्श है माँ का, जिसको छू गए कंचन करती, जिसको कुछ माँ पर निज विश्वास का धन रख दो
Today's lecture was quite big for all of you who are here. I'm happy that you could all come down for the Shiv Puja. And now, as they have requested, in Europe also we are going to have one Shiv Puja on the 17th, I think, in Rome. They have never had Shiv Puja in the West. And that's why I have decided that we'll have to puja, though it's quite a difficult thing to have Shiva's puja with such close proximity. Today I have told them how we have got 4 channels in our heart where Shiva resides, and how we have to introspect ourselves and control our attention, because in Sahaja Yoga there is all freedom to be the way you are. Nothing is asked to be sacrificed or to be given up, as they were told before, to go to the Himalayas, take out all your clothes and shiver there in the cold and all sorts of things. The body, importance of the body, has to be reduced, and for that you have to put your attention inward and try to find joy in everything. To put your attention inside is very easy because you are meditative. Supposing you are going by a bullock cart. If a man is used to a Rolls Royce, he will be all the time complaining, what is this nonsense? Why have I to go by a bullock cart? Horrible, this, that. But a child, if he is in a bullock cart, he'll be enjoying it. What a nice thing, you are jumping up and down, very nice, how the bullocks are running, beautiful, you can watch everything so carefully outside. Because he's so innocent like Shiva. Like you want to have a proper bathroom, you want to have a proper bed, you want to have all these things. But if you want to make a fun out of it, it's very interesting. Once I went to Lucknow, I went to stay with a relation of mine. And they had only one cot, not so rich. They had lost all their zamidaris, and they said, we have only one cot, if you want you can sleep on the cot or on the ground. I said, all right, I'll try this cot business. That cot was made of coir, and it was all touching the ground like that. So it's just like sleeping on the ground, but it was all like this. But in the night I found lots of rats running over my body. I was watching them. So the people got very much worried. They said, what, these rats are crawling upon you and going round and round. Yes, I said, one of them is still here under my foot. So they said, aren't you disturbed? I said, what is there to be disturbed? I'm just watching them. I've never seen so many rats together. Just enjoying them. And then they said, you are sleeping in this kind of a cot and you might get little pain tomorrow. I said, no, I'm just enjoying. This is like a nice swing here, you see, nicely, you can move about. It's very nice, very interesting. And next day I was very fresh, and they were surprised how I was so fresh. So all these discomforts of body and all that, and the way we are correcting everything and grudging about everything, complaining about everything, is just a myth. Now you don't have to go to that austerity. What you have to do? Surrender all these things into the ocean of joy, or dissolve it into the ocean of joy. All these comforts. Then also the artificial norms of life that have come up, like we have to have disheveled hair, otherwise you are not in. You have to be really crazy to be in. There are many other things, stupid I think very much, that have come in vogue, and people are following them because they are the norms. If you don't do that, then you think you are not all right, or others may start thinking, oh, what funny man he is. That doesn't mean you should be funny or you should be hippies or anything, but not to be so much worried about the norms. Like one day I saw one gentleman was extremely upset. in England, Indian gentleman. I said, what happened? Why are you so upset? He said, you know, by mistake, I used the fish knife for eating meat. I said, so what? I said, everybody watched me, you see. I said, it's all right. You didn't thrust that into anyone. Doesn't matter if you have eaten fish knife, if you have used fish knife for this. So you must use fish knife first, then this, that. All nonsense. It's not so important than your equanimity, than your balance. So all these little things can also upset us. On the contrary, I would say, oh, really, I did eat with the fish, very good. It's a good thing that I broke something, a big image of a formal dinner was broken. So, it was good. Next time everybody will do that. It may start as a fashion, possibly. If you just put your attention in such a way that this body is for the, not for the penance, but for the havana, is to be used for the havana, for the yajna. And then you can tell your body nicely that now will you please behave yourself, you see. So first you have to denounce it, all its demands, and then it becomes a thing that you use it for doing God's work. I must say, compared to Indians, Westerners are much better in this respect. I must say that. Indians wanted first the best rooms, they used to fight for it. Now gradually they are coming around a little bit, but still sometimes they start grudging about this, grudging about that. But that way, I don't know how, but I must say that in the West, or even in Australia, people are not so much bothered about these things. I remember once we had gone to Ganpatipura a long time back, and there were no arrangements for sleeping because the MTDC had not vacated. They said we'll do it next day. So many of them just went to the seashore and slept there the night. This mother, we enjoyed it. It was full moon thing. We really enjoyed among ourselves. But the second part is the attachments are there with people. We can say, first of all, is the desire. The desire to have this, desire to have that, all kinds of desires, as we have seen, that we never fulfilled, and we are never satisfied with them when they are satisfied. So, what do we do with our desires? Dissolve it into Shuddha Ichcha, into the pure desire of Kundalini. And third thing is that we have our relations. I mean, I've seen with the Westerners, especially when they get married, I don't know what happens to them, then suddenly they think they are now married, so now they have become Romeo, Juliet, raised to power 108. And of course, Indians are the other way around. I mean, it's both just the same. So, one has to understand that all right, it's an event of marriage. But the attention should not entangle with any person whatsoever. As I've told you many times, the sap of the tree has to rise and give its attention to all the parts of the tree and go back. If it gets attached to any one of the parts of the whole, tree will die as well as that part will also die. So in every relationship, whatever you have to give to your sister, to your brother, to your children, to your wife has to be done. But you should not get entangled with it. So what do we do with our attachments? Dissolve it in compassion. And compassion is like sea. The nature of the compassion is it fulfills all the issues, all the balance, all the defects. Just runs in it. The fourth one is the one which is for your attention. When your attention is so pure, then it nourishes this fourth channel which blossoms, rises through your electricity, goes into your sahasrara and becomes a lotus of fragrance. There is those prana stars giving the fragrance of the heart. That's how the combination of the heart and the brain takes place. So this attention itself is the power of Shiva. The attention which we call as Chitta. And this attention is present in every comma of the all-pervading power, the Chaitanya. And this attention really is respected when these Chaitanya commas go into action. While this attention is quiet, it just watches, just sees. It doesn't react, but they see the attention as it is. They just watch it, and they know what it is, and accordingly they act. So Shiva is just a spectator watching the work of the goddess. He's the only spectator. And if he gets angry, and if he sees that human beings are not respectful to his power, then he comes into action and destroys the whole world, destroys the whole work of the goddess. So it is important that you all should join hands, work down the work of the goddess so that Shiva is happy and we create a new world of spirituality and peace. May God bless you.
I would suggest that first let them ask the questions today. So I keep myself there. If you have any questions, it's better to ask me first so that your mind is at rest. would like to start? Let's see if it is better. Am I better here or on the ground? Now, first of all, it's better to ask the questions, because yesterday when we started this question session, people got a little deviated. It's better to ask questions now, what you have, because you are all seekers. You are all seekers and you have been seekers. So it's best is to ask questions now, so I'll be able to put the answer in between my lecture. Are you better today? I'm asking you. Huh? I'll again see you today. Yeah? No questions? Oh. That means Sahajogis have become quite capable of explaining Sahajoga, and I'm very proud of that. When I went to Australia, the newspaper people asked me, "Mother, are all your disciples scholars?" I said, "No, they are very common people. They have to be very common and normal people." And they said, "The way they know things, surprisingly we feel they are all scholars." I said, "All scholarship is within yourself. All the knowledge is within yourself. If you only can get light there, you can see all that knowledge is within you. You don't have to go anywhere for your knowledge. It's all inside. Everything is built in. You are built in so beautifully to become your spirit that I don't have to do much about it. It just works out. Only thing is that one has to know what we should expect. To be the spirit, what should be our expectation? And that also logically you must understand. It should be a logical conclusion. Not just because I say something, because you have become a member of some group, because you have paid money somewhere. It's not that. Reality is what it is. And logically it has to be reality. The other day I told you about the left side, about the past, about the subconscious, about the collective subconscious and the problems of the subconscious and the conditionings we get from material things, from matter. Matter is always trying to overpower the spirit. And this matter is overpowering us because we come from matter to begin with. But how does the spirit come out of it? What happens that we become the spirit? People have talked about self-realization. So many people have talked about second birth. Everyone has said that you have to be born again. There are many people who go about saying, "I am twice born," self-certified. You can find all kinds of people in this world who are knowing that something has to happen, some breakthrough has to take place, something we have to see. Imagine at the time of Christ, there were not so many people who were sick. Nobody could talk to the disciples also much. They were just ordinary fishermen, very simple people. But today is the time when you find so many of seekers all over the world. Seeking what? What are you seeking? The seeking is of your spirit. Now this is also a very vague term to say you are seeking your spirit. Now what is this spirit supposed to be? And why should we seek this spirit? In our evolution, we are human beings. Our awareness is that of human beings. And this awareness of human beings is not the ultimate. If it was, we would not have been seeking. It's not the end of it. We have to reach at a point where something more has to happen. Now how do we approach the subject logically? In our evolution, what has happened to us? We were animals, from there we became human beings. What is so special about human beings compared to animals? In the awareness of man, there is a new dimension. For example, you can take a horse to a dirty lane, he doesn't feel anything, the dirt or filth or beauty, colors, nothing. Makes no difference. But if you take a human being through a dirty lane or a dirty house, immediately he understands, he doesn't like it. So what has come into us is nothing but in our awareness, a new dimension compared to animals. Or we can say in very scientific way is that in our central nervous system, we have developed a new awareness. Whatever is in our central nervous system, we are master of that. Supposing I feel this is hot, everybody will feel this is hot. If I say this is the color of this particular bird, everybody will say the same thing. So whatever is the awareness of one human being, awareness, I am saying, not the myth, not the hallucination, but the reality, as far as his organs are concerned, sensory organs are concerned, is just the same. A person who feels hot does not say that he feels cold. Not the other one will come and say it is cold. They all will say it is hot. So, one thing is that the truth is one. It cannot be two. And that whatever has to happen now in our evolution has to be in our awareness. Like a fish became a turtle. If a fish became a turtle, what happened to her? It is in the awareness of the turtle, it started feeling the Mother Earth. It lost something that fish had and it started feeling something new. In the same way, in our evolution, if something has to happen, we have to be something more in awareness, more dynamic. For this, we can take help from the writings of so many people. For example, we can consider Jung as one of them who has talked about it. Jung has said, Jung has said that when the breakthrough will take place, the human beings will become collectively conscious, will become. He didn't say that you'll all start doing the same thing or you start behaving in the same manner. No, he said you will become, you will be aware of it, not unawares. So when you are seeking the Spirit, if the Spirit has to enlighten you, in your awareness, you are going to know something more than you have known so far. For example, you might feel it hot and cold today, but maybe with that awareness you might feel something different about it. He has said it very clearly that you have to become collectively conscious. So the becoming is the point in our evolution, nothing else. We become something else. In Sanskrit language, for example, they say, for a realized soul. For Indians, it's very common knowledge. It's nothing so much difficult to understand. He is called as a Dvija, the one who is born again. And also a bird is called as a Dvija, because a bird is born first as an egg and then it grows, matures, and then suddenly it becomes a bird. And that is the parallel of realization. You also know that on the Easter day we give eggs. It has the same symbol, that we are eggs and we have to become the birds. So just now at this stage when we are human beings, we are just limited like an egg to grow up to a point where you can become the bird. All other sort of things people talk of is not the realization. Like I may say that, alright, if I mesmerize you very well, I can give you bottles and you might start sucking the bottles just casually. Even knowing that you are doing something funny, you are doing it. You'll be compelled to do it because you are mesmerized. Any such activity that we fall into is not realization. Because whatever has happened to you, as human beings that you have done no activity whatsoever. We didn't cut our tails as monkeys to become human beings. It has happened spontaneously like a flower becoming a fruit. It's a living process. One does not realize that whatever has to happen to you is a living process, it's not a dead process. What we can do is all dead. For example, we can stand on our heads, we can jump, we can run, we can do all kinds of things, but that is not the living process. The living process is when you become something, and that becoming must be asked by all honest seekers. If you are not honest, then it's difficult. Or even if you are honest and you are misidentified with certain ideas you have read because you have paid for the book or you have paid for an organization, you paid for someone, that's not going to help. What we have to see, what we become. And that's what yesterday I told, that you become the master. You become the prophet. As Blake has said, that God of men will become prophets and they will have powers to make others prophets. So to be very honest with yourself, you should say, have I become a prophet? And can I make others prophets? This is a very simple way of looking at our realization, and this is what you are capable of. That you become the prophet because everything is within you. The whole machinery is within you. You are like a computer. You are just to be put to the mains, it will start working. You have to just become that. And if you do not become that, then all other things, forming an organization and any such thing is of no use, is of no value, is all, I can say, misguidance. What have you got yourself? Supposing, if Ray has to say something, oh, mother saw a light and this happened and that happened, she has these powers, those powers, it's all useless. What is it to you? I may be the king of anything, so what does it matter to you? What has become of you is the important thing, and for that becoming, if I say there is everything placed within you, I have to prove it, that's all. This knowledge is not unknown to us, actually. It's all being described from the time of Moses, like he says the tree of fire. Now what is the tree of fire? Nobody knows. They just say there was tree of fire. But if you see the Kundalini completely enlightened, if you can see, it really looks like a tree of fire. And then it is said also in the Bible that I will appear before you like tongues of flames. Now what is that? No one explains, nobody knows. These tongues of flames are nothing but these centers, when they are enlightened, you see them just like tongues of flames. But you need not see them. Because when you are outside the pavilion, you can see the pavilion. When you are inside, you don't see, you just see the hall. And that is why one should understand that it is not what we think should happen, but it is what will happen actually we should accept. So first we should get rid of our misidentifications with our ideas. That this will happen, that will happen, and this should happen, I should see a light, I should fly in the air. There are many people who are paying money to fly in the air. I mean, it's absurd. Why do you want to fly in the air? I don't understand. They are paying much more money than they can for that than they would have to pay to go around the whole world. I really tell you, by plane if you travel, it won't be so expensive as you are paying for this flying business, this flying squad business. And what is that? We have to understand. What is that? When we go for this flying, what are we getting into? And this method of mesmerism is so subtle that you cannot understand. You just go on into it. Like the same flying squad business, we had a gentleman who was the director of the academy, down with epilepsy, his wife down with epilepsy, the child down with epilepsy. And they all came down to me, they lost their houses, they lost everything, penniless. This is what has happened to the flying of the whole joke. Now, one must realize that you cannot pay for your evolution. You cannot pay. It's very simple to understand. As I told you yesterday, that if you pay to this flower, will it become a fruit? It's a living process for which we cannot pay. It doesn't understand money. Living processes do not understand money. I have not known any human being, supposing he is suffering from indigestion, he puts some money there saying that now I pay you my stomach, now will you digest my food. Do we do that? In the same way, it is the highest of highest living processes for which you cannot pay. It's a very subtle thing to understand for human beings, because they believe that for everything one has to pay, otherwise it doesn't work out. You see, you go to a machine, you want to have a good, say, machine, you must pay, which works. You see, it doesn't work, you can have free. But the one that works, we have to pay. Any motor car is free means it's all a junk. You can't have it. You will have to pay to take it to the junk shop. So it is always in the minds of human beings that one has to pay. And this is very wrong, that you cannot pay. I am talking of the processes which are beyond human. The human beings are not living. For example, we cannot transform a flower into fruit. The living process itself is beyond human reach. But when you become a superhuman, you can handle it. And this should happen to you. If it does not happen to you, all the rest of the things are wrong. I am telling you with great concern, because the people who are in the market, who are selling goods, are doing it very well. They know how to entice you, they know how to put ideas through you, how to give you misidentifications, and you just get identified with them till they completely drop out. And then you are left high and dry. You say, oh God, what has happened? One thing is there, that your spirit is not lost. It is there. Despite whatever the mistakes, whatever may be the seeking, but the spirit resides within you despite everything till you live. And this spirit is to be brought into your conscious mind, means into your central nervous system. You should feel the powers of the spirit in your being. This is what this Sahaja Yoga is. Sahaja, as he must have told you, means born with you. Now yesterday I told you about the left side, which is the power of desire, and through this power we have our all conditionings and all the receptions from the matter, materialistic things, and also what you can say, we collect all our past, and the past then extend up to the collective subconscious. I also told you yesterday that cancer is a disease caused by the left side extreme behavior of people. Those who go to the extreme behavior on the left side get the disease called cancer, and it can be cured if you can bring such an extreme case in the center. It can be cured, no doubt about it. Now the second side is the right side, which today I have told that I will tell you about. The gentleman is not here who asked so many questions. Is he here? He was just busy asking questions, that's all yesterday. He's not interested in seeking, I think. Alright. Now the second side, on the right hand side, is the power by which we act. First we desire and then we act. Now this power, right side power, is expressed within us as right sympathetic nervous system. Science has come from the same. Science is in the gross, these are all subtle things that are within us. Now this right side power, which exists within us, gives us the power for our mental and physical capacity to act. Now this action takes place when we desire something, we want to implement that desire, then we go into action. One has to understand what sort of a power is this. This power is called as Prana Shakti in Sanskrit, Prana. And the another one, the left one, as Mana Shakti, is the power of the emotions, or can say of the mind. But you see, English language is not so clear cut about it. So I would say Mana Shakti and Prana Shakti. These are the two powers that exist within us, and we start using them as left and right, we can say like a brake and an accelerator, and then we become the master of driving. But while becoming that, we make mistakes. The human mind has a speciality to go to extremes. Supposing I tell somebody, now you have to meditate. They'll meditate for 5 hours. There is no need to meditate for 5 hours or anything. But if you tell them that you have to stand on your head, they'll do it for 10 hours. So there is no need to go to extremes. We have to be just in the center, be kind to our body, be kind to ourselves. There's nothing to be frantic about. There's nothing to be so much exasperated about it. It's just very simple thing that has to happen. For example, think of a seed which is sown in a very loud music, or say a place where everybody is rushing, shouting, screaming. What will happen? That seed will never sprout. If it is in a peaceful place, is a properly placed one, or not in a tilted pot, then it will definitely develop into a beautiful tree or a beautiful shrub, whatever it has to develop into. In the same way, if we are too much on the extremes, we go to the left and to the right. Now going to the left, I told you yesterday what happens, that all these things like hypnosis and ESPs and most of these gurus try these tricks, you see, like they just make you hypnotize